Throughout the Cold War, the Soviet Union's KGB waged a covert war of influence and destabilization, a strategy known as active measures. This wasn't a single operation but a broad array of tactics that included propaganda, disinformation, and the covert support of insurgent movements. It was a shadow war fought in the minds of people, aiming to undermine Western democracies and expand Soviet influence across the globe. Active measures were born from a simple but profound realization that ideology and perception could be as powerful as tanks and missiles. The goal was not merely to compete with the West but to sow discord, erode trust, and create chaos within societies deemed hostile to Soviet interests. The KGB became a master manipulator of narratives, wielding lies and half-truths with surgical precision. Disinformation was at the heart of active measures. The KGB would fabricate stories and plant them in the media, sometimes using fringe publications as the initial source. These stories would then be picked up by larger outlets, spreading false narratives to millions. One infamous example was the claim that the US government created the AIDS virus, a lie propagated through Operation Infection. The story spread like wildfire, fueling distrust in American institutions worldwide. But the KGB didn't stop at fabricating stories. They created entire ecosystems of misinformation. Fake letters, documents, and even forged government memos were crafted to support their narratives. In some cases, the KGB infiltrated activist groups, posing as members to push propaganda from within. They exploited existing social divisions, fanning the flames of racial tension, anti-war sentiment, and class struggle. One of the most audacious aspects of active measures was the use of cultural manipulation. Soviet operatives would sponsor and promote art, literature, and music that aligned with their ideological goals. They sought to discredit capitalist values by highlighting societal issues like inequality, corruption, and systemic racism in the West. At the same time, they portrayed the Soviet Union as a utopia of equality and fairness. The KGB also provided covert support to insurgent movements and revolutionary groups around the world. From funding guerrilla fighters in Africa and Latin America to arming resistance movements in Asia, active measures sought to destabilize pro-Western governments while bolstering allies sympathetic to the Soviet cause. These actions often led to prolonged conflicts and widespread suffering, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. One of the most notable targets of active measures was the United States, where the KGB sought to exploit the civil rights movement, anti-Vietnam War protests, and political divisions. By planting false narratives and amplifying existing grievances, the Soviets aimed to weaken American unity and credibility on the world stage. Even elections were not immune. Efforts to sway public opinion and delegitimize democratic processes were a hallmark of the strategy. Despite its reach and ambition, active measures had its limitations. Not every operation succeeded, and in some cases the lies were exposed, damaging the Soviet Union's credibility. However, the sheer scale of the campaign ensured that some seeds of doubt and division would always take root. The legacy of active measures endures in the modern era. The tactics developed by the KGB have evolved but remain highly relevant in today's world of information warfare. Disinformation campaigns, fake news, and the manipulation of public perception continue to shape political landscapes, proving that the lessons of the Cold War have not been forgotten. Active measures were more than just a Cold War strategy. They were a masterclass in the weaponization of information. They reveal the power of perception, the fragility of trust, and the devastating potential of lies in the hands of a determined adversary.